live show that keeps you updated on all the nerdy news you need to know. Coming up on the show today, we have comments on the upcoming Echo show.
We do?
We have some comments.
Personal comments or a quote?
Yeah, what is this?
We got a quote, we got some comments, we got some thoughts.
Okay.
We
we
also
have
have
prayers?
I'm sorry?
Thoughts and prayers?
Thoughts and prayers. We also have Spider-Man updates.
Ooh.
Tasty. And Professor X? Question mark?
Who's that?
Who dat? We're going to find out and get into all that good news. But first, I got to introduce the people joining me today on the show. Across the table, we got Tommy Bechtold.
Good day, mates. Great to see you.
Oh, good stuff. And next to him, we got Jessica Clemons.
Hello.
Hello to you too, Gov. And I'm Brandon Barrick. Who cares? We got a great show lined up for you today. Lots to talk about. And some real late-breaking news before we hopped on the Breakroom today. We're glad you're all here, by the way, joining us. In an interview with comicbook.com, Patrick Stewart, who is being interviewed about Star Trek Picard, but you got to sneak in some good Marvel questions when you got Patty S. sitting on the chair.
Well, poor him and Matt Shackman just want to talk about their projects, and people are like, what about your Marvel stuff?
They want to promote anything else, but we want to know about Marvel. Apparently, Patrick Stewart said that he was, quote, told to be on standby for Deadpool 3. On standby for Deadpool 3.
What if it's just Patrick Stewart playing Patrick Stewart?
Well, I mean, it's a very smart move if you haven't been cast in the movie yet.
Kind of ironic to ask Professor X to be on standby.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
You laughed at it.
I did laugh at it, and then I realized what he was saying.
Yeah.
I was supportive, and then I questioned it.
Okay.
But this is like pretty exciting news. I mean, I think we all could have guessed that maybe they'd bring in a little Professor X for the Deadpool 3 film, which of course will feature Wolverine along with Deadpool.
Yes.
But what do we think about this news and what it could mean for the story for that upcoming film?
Well, I'm just glad comicbook.com is nabbing all the big guests recently. Eric Voss, Patrick Stewart.
In
Who's
that
next?
order.
In that order.
Yeah, I think that I don't think someone who's been in the industry as long as Sir Patrick Stewart does something like that by mistake. I feel like they were like, you can kind of soft leak this.
Very
like,
cheeky.
Yeah, like go ahead and just like kind of be like, I'm on standby. They're not. He's going to be in the movie. I think I would go ahead and put my Vegas odds at he's currently even money to be in the movie.
Even money.
Yeah.
Are we expecting him to be with Hugh Jackman?
Well, I mean, I would hope that Wolverine and Professor X would get to interact in this movie.
Right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't. This wouldn't be a different universe where they hate each other.
But it's also
they don't
Deadpool.
talk
He could be hallucinating Professor X.
It's
right?
true.
Like
be-
Deadpool could dose Wolverine, and he could be getting yelled at by Patrick Stewart, who's in the face of or he's in the trunk of a tree, like Logan. I am a tree.
I'm a tree. Well, let's dissect kind of what we know about the Fox X-Men universe, as messy as it can be. I mean, we've seen Professor X die 3 times in movies, right?
Yes.
X-Men Last Stand, he gets evaporated by a Phoenix Force Jean Grey, and then his mind is able to put itself into the body of a patient of Moira McTaggart.
Yes.
We see that in the post-credits scene. You hear Patrick Stewart's voice and this comatose body kind of turn. And Moira's like, so that he kind of came back, and then he shows up again in like Days of Future Past and all that. Has a weird interaction with Wolverine, who's kind of like, "Where did you get a body from? I saw it get evaporated." He's like, "Don't worry about that."
Well, they kind of do that with everything, right? Like Scott Summers is back, and he's like, "Yeah."
Well, and Professor X says something like, "You're not the only one with gifts," and it's like, okay, you had the gift to reconstruct your atomized body. I don't know. And of course, famously in Logan. We see Patrick Stewart die in that film. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Logan. But we also know that it's been confirmed from Hugh Jackman that Deadpool 3 will take place before the events of Logan.
Yes.
He was there to assure James Mangold that like you're not going to see like the grave of Logan and then the hand comes out and he's alive again. This will be a younger Logan than that. The Logan movie will stand. That timeline stands. It's not going to get erased or anything like that. And then, of course, we saw Professor X die in Multiverse of Madness. Now, that was an 838 Professor X, a different one, but kind of insinuated to be the Professor X that we had kind of known from the Fox universe. He had the yellow chair.
The green suit.
The green suit. He has what he says is something that he said to Logan, or he said to himself in Days of Future Past when he's talking to a young version of himself. Again, very confusing stuff with timelines.
Cheeky.
In the X-Men universe. And then, of course, we had a young Professor X played by James McAvoy in First Class and Days of Future Past and Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Some of those we've forgotten about. It's okay. So you have all these different Professor X's, different deaths of Professor X's.
Yeah.
What do we think they're going for here with returning a Professor X to this Deadpool, Logan, or Wolverine storyline?
Are we not including what we saw in Multiverse of Madness?
Oh.
Because I was like, this is now officially like Deadpool 3 will be a Disney property. So are we allowed to follow up from what we last saw? Not in the X-Men franchise, the Fox one, but in Multiverse of Madness.
Sure.
I mean, it could be like we've been thinking that the TVA is going to play a role in this movie. You had Ryan Reynolds interacting with that strange Miss Minutes account on Twitter. It doesn't seem to be official, but
It's not.
But official people talk to it. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. And you know, Ryan Reynolds has kind of hinted that like the TVA is a very interesting thing. You know, we had that interview with Hugh Jackman where he says like Marvel has this device for time travel. Now we don't know if it's a script device or like a physical device, like you have a TVA time door or something like that. But knowing that they're bringing Deadpool and Wolverine into the MCU, we would have to imagine that the TVA would be interested in this time-hopping individual.
Yeah. I also think the relationship between Professor X and Logan makes him necessary to be in this film. He's kind of the one person, other than maybe Jean Grey, that can kind of like get through to Logan when he's really juiced up, when he's really angry, when he's really like, you know, when all of his trauma and PTSD strikes and he's like full on Wolverine and not Logan anymore. So I think that we could see him in kind of a metaphysical way, or like a possibly as a like in his head more than
Like
a
not a physical.
than a
It's
tangible.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, I think perhaps there could be that element of it, or it could be, you know, something teased the entire movie by Deadpool, like some sort of like crass joke about Wolverine and Logan, and then it pays off. And you know what I mean? It could be a joke, like it could be a bit. That's the thing with Deadpool movies is like you want to put all this like weight and heft to these storylines, and it's like they could just as easily bring in. I mean, they brought Brad Pitt in to be electrocuted by power lines.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't.
also, he's not even there in the second Deadpool. He's riding in his chair. Right? In the second Deadpool movie, Professor X?
in the Deadpool movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he goes to
He's-
the X-Men.
yeah,
Oh,
he's-
that's
and
right. That's
he's
right. You see
in
it
the
like
chair.
in the, yeah. Sorry, I was like, what?
He was-
Yeah, it was like a little joke they do.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
like
he's like, where's my
Beast
chair?
and Quicksilver and a couple of the
Right,
other
right.
ones are in there, but like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not played for just a gag. I would love
Yeah,
to see
me
more.
too.
Because you make a great point, Tommy. Like Wolverine and Professor X's kind of relationship is important.
Yeah.
The first X-Men film really established that like Xavier was there to help Logan a lot, and you know we saw as they like in Days of Future Past, right? Wolverine, a younger Professor X tried to talk to Wolverine. He was like, "Get the fuck out of here! I don't want to talk to you."
You're right.
And so it's like he's been watching him. He's been waiting to get to him, and he's there to help him reconstruct his mind that was like utterly devastated by Stryker.
Right.
So it is important. And it would be seeing in Logan how Wolverine cared so much about Professor X, even through the awful thing that happened.
Yeah.
You know, this man aging and his powers getting outside of his own control.
Yeah.
He was still there for him. He still
Right.
defended him and took care of him and
Right.
cared so much about him because he meant so much to him.
Right.
So yeah, I hope it's not played just for laughs and it is like an important thing.
Agreed.
Now, is it possible this is just like a whole new Xavier? It's not related to 838.
Well,
It's
yeah.
not related to Fox. It's not related to anything.
What
Deadpool's
if,
just
what
like,
if there's a nefarious force within the TVA that's using it to taunt Logan by bringing in like pruned or arrested variants of Charles Xavier that they haven't pruned yet?
Right.
Like they're like awaiting trial, and he just keeps like they just keep pruning Xavier in front of him.
God. Just like really stack up the deaths. I mean, Trashback said it in a super chat saying Vision and Professor X competing for the most on-screen
It's
deaths.
true. But
which
to
could
be
great.
fair, pruning is not death, as we learned
true.
in Loki.
Well-
you just go to that other place.
Yeah, and then if Eliath eats you, I guess it is death
then,
at that point.
Then Elias judges.
Yeah, that's a little specious of the TVA to be like, we're not killing them.
Yeah.
They have their chance to live in this dystopian world with a giant smoke cloud eating them.
Yeah.
It's not our fault.
No.
Pruning doesn't kill people.
Yeah. Elias
kills people. It would be a sweet device too if Deadpool, in trying to reach Logan, is like, oh, I'll go get you a Professor X. And
Yeah.
just grabs a random one,
John did a
from
poll
somewhere.
and it says, will Professor X die again in Deadpool 3? And 54% said yes.
Oh, it's pretty close.
If he dies
Is he the new Sean Bean?
Oh no.
If he dies in Multiverse of Madness and then dies here, I guess if they're jumping timelines, he could just find another.
Just keep finding
Professor X.
Xaviers. Yeah. Every time Logan gets in a bad place, you gotta go find an Xavier to bring him out of it. But it is very exciting news. What about Ian McKellen? Why aren't they calling? Is Ian McKellen standing by?
I mean, maybe Ian's probably doing like Richard III or King Lear in like the West End, and he's like hasn't answered his phone in weeks. He's just got 50 missed calls from Kevin Feige.
Well, I mean, we know Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are good friends,
Yeah.
and I bet Ian's pissed.
I would be. I'd be so
Patrick.
mad if they call, and then my friend's just like, "Did they hit you up?" And it's like, no.
Did you get the call to play Xavier again? I was Gandalf the Grey.
He was. He was great as Gandalf the Grey.
Ian.
He was
Gandalf
bad
the
as
Grey.
Cats.
He was great in Cats.
He was
Who
not
did he
good
play?
in Cats.
Cripple Crimps?
Not you. That was
Cat,
your-
the cat, forgot.
Well, we got lots more to talk about, but first, we want to thank our sponsor today, Mint Mobile. You've heard us talk about Mint Mobile before. It's a great service. Mint Mobile was the first company to sell premium wireless service online only. You order from home and you save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Lots of us here at New Rockstars have made the switch to Mint Mobile. It has saved us a ton of money, so much money, so that we can see movies multiple times instead of paying for our phone bills. It's really easy to do. It's to make the switch, and all of those monthly savings, they really add up. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless service for just $15 a month.
Yeah.
By going online only and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. And these plans they're good plans. They're unlimited talk and text. They're high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you already have a phone you love, you don't got to get rid of it. You keep your phone. You keep your contacts. You keep your number so you don't have to give a new number to all those ladies and gentlemen out there you've been sharing your number to. Be careful out there. But you can switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service. Again, starting at just $15 a month.
Brandon, I got to make a quick disclaimer to everybody.
Give them a disclaimer.
Do not put your Mint mobile phone in your mouth to try to freshen your breath.
Oh, it's not that.
The name is Minty Fresh. The phones remain disgusting germ sponges that will simply make. The reason I have a stuffy nose is I soaked my Mint mobile phone in my mouth for about an hour and a half yesterday.
You thought it would freshen your
and
breath.
I caught some kind of plague. So the plan is fresh. The taste of the phone remains disgusting.
That's
and
tough.
I learned.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tommy. Well, don't do what Tommy did. Don't put a phone in your mouth, but switch to Mint Mobile. Get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free. Just go to mintmobile.com/breakroom. That's mintmobile.com/breakroom. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/breakroom.
Good gracious, phone is bodacious.
Speaking of bodacious, is my part. It's the headline.
Yeah,
Oh,
body yaddy
bodacious.
yaddy 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 yaddy. Headline's crazy.
Thank you.
There
There
it
it
is.
is.
There she
I
goes.
don't know how to do improv anymore, so I waited.
You did like the Disney Channel mouse
Welcome
ears.
to the break room. I drew a penis.
We all did a bad job. Oh my
Amazon
gosh.
Prime Video. Oh, I'm sorry. Amazon Prime Video and Sony have announced a live-action Spider-Man noir series.
Live action.
That's
Live
crazy.
action, baby. Black and white live action. We saw it. We loved it. And Disney.
Into the Spider-Verse?
No.
Sin City.
Werewolf
by Night.
Werewolf by Night.
I'm just naming everything I've seen in black and white. The
I
artist.
almost said
Frankenstein.
Night of the Wolf.
Young Frankenstein.
Night of the Wolf.
Close. It's Phil Lord, Chris,
Wizard of Oz for part of it.
the first half. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Amy Pascal are all executive producers on the show, as well as Oren Uzel, who will also join and write, and has previously written on John Wick 4 and Mortal Kombat, so this is going to have a lot of choreography. Yes. This is the second project announced by of the Amazon and Sony Spider-Man collaborations, with the other being Spider Silk Society with showrunner Angela Kang, and here's hoping Nicolas Cage will star in this.
Oh, thank God.
You know how after the Across the Spider-Verse just came out, everyone was so sad to not have like
Right.
Spider Noir and missing a couple more, and it's like it's probably
Maybe they
because-
want to focus on this. Can I make a suggestion if Nicolas Cage is unavailable?
Do it.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
okay.
fun. Do you think he can do the Mortal Kombat John Wick?
like
choreography.
He's gotten in shape before.
You put a spider mask on people, anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, come on, it's like V for Vendetta. You think Hugo Weaving was in there daggering people?
I mean, I was really excited. Loved Spider Noir Into the Spider-Verse. And yeah, they haven't announced him for Across the Spider-Verse or any of the other characters except Peter B. Parker. I think they're saving him. I think they don't want to spoil it.
Also,
and it's going to be a sweet moment when they show up.
Yes, it's also, and it's Across the Spider-Verse, so if this is a team-up thing, it's like, watch them show up a little bit in Across the Spider-Verse, go into this live-action series.
Ah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Disney agent in an interview a couple of months ago said he hasn't done any voice work for...
Yeah, but he's also a liar.
He could be lying.
He's also a liar.
He also bought a T-Rex skull.
Yeah. But he gave it back.
He sold it.
He gave it back. He gave it back when he heard...
They took my skull.
He lost the money on that one.
The skull was a bad investment.
It'll be an interesting show to be in live action. I hope it's super stylized. And I haven't read Spider Noir comics. Does he ever take his mask off?
Does he
or is
crush
that like
ass?
Spider Noir's thing?
Huh?
Tommy.
What?
Tommy.
He's a hard-boiled detective.
Thomas.
It's a reasonable question.
Next headline. We got a quote about the upcoming Echo show from Steven Broussard. When speaking with the Collider, he said, it's a very different tonal sort of thing. I don't want to say too much because there's not a whole lot out there in the world, but it feels very grounded. It feels very spiritual in ways that feel fresh for us. What is this?
Alakwa.
Alakwa as the lead is incredibly compelling. I'm sort of hard-pressed to think of something that it feels like outside in the broader realm of the MCU, let alone within what we've done here. Can you scroll back up a little bit? He said, I want to see, it feels very spiritual in ways that feel fresh for us.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I take it to be like a totally new show, a new approach. You know, I think in a lot of the ways, like a film like Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes from like a totally different voice, a different perspective, very different from everything else. One of my favorite films of Phase 4, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, felt so different than a lot of the Marvel movies we've seen where they're great, but you're like, I get the formula, I see the pattern.
That's true.
Like it had a whole different perspective. And I like that. I also like this answer because this is the type of answer I give at work when someone asks me about a project I have not worked on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't say too much. It's really
great.
great.
He did a really good job.
It's really coming together.
Of fluffy.
How do you feel about Eric Ross's Ant-Man Quantumania breakdown?
Oh, it's so great. I mean, there's so many things going on with it, and it's very special.
To us, it's a breakdown. We haven't done things.
Yeah, it's just
also,
very different.
I got to say, and this is no knock against her, whatever Alakwa did on that set has... Every soundbite is like, she's incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that cynically.
No.
Her performance in this must be unbelievable because it is in every single quote.
I mean,
what do you mean?
Know,
okay.
Like they talk about her performance, and her co-stars are just like, she's incredible. So whatever she brings to this character, which was probably one of the highlights of Hawkeye, to be honest. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. The show was like pushed back a little bit as far as its release date. But yeah, everyone's been very careful to say like, the show's great. We love the direction it's going. And
do you think the delay was to have it come out closer to Daredevil?
I was thinking about that. I was like, didn't we get a little piece of info of what the actual delay was? Because I was like, was it because they're trying to get closer to Deadpool? Because then they moved Daredevil, sorry. No. They moved another series to Daredevil comes first now before another series.
They've kind of messed around with the series, and I think that's a result of as stories change in movies and they make little tweaks and different cameos and availability of actors because these things are so connected.
Sure.
When one thing changes, like it has these ripple effects that affect everything.
That is very true.
Hopefully it's all for the best.
That is very true. Next headline. Even if you're promoting another property, you can never avoid those Marvel questions.
Right.
While doing interviews for Amazon Prime's The Consultant series, Matt Shankman compared the Fantastic Four to Star Trek. Dashiell, I'm looking at you. He said they share a great sense of optimism. The idea of looking to the stars and technology can save everything and coming together as a family, either a real family or the family that you find, the Enterprise. Oh my God.
It's an interesting comparison.
That's such a weird comparison. Well, no, it's not, because I guess they are a team of different people built like on this one ship in the middle of space.
Well, they're like there's some family, there's some like I'm just your friend, I'm your brother. I'm your husband,
that's why I'm like
wife.
they become a family.
Yeah, but then they're forced to be together because now they're all weird.
Your chosen family.
Yes, like you guys.
I do want to bring up The Consultant. I auditioned for that.
Oh, yeah? How'd it go?
Well, I turned it down, and ultimately because it was a full frontal role with only one line. So, sorry to say, watch The Consultant. You'll see 100% less Tom Dong.
Damn. Where do we find Tom Dong?
You can find that on my OnlyFans, which right now is currently being rented by a man named Caleb this month.
Oh, okay, got
But
it.
it'll be available in March.
Nice.
Previously, Shackman was attached to direct Star Trek film before stepping away to do the Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah, maybe he just has Star Trek on his mind.
Yeah, he's like, Star Trek.
Maybe he like had a really
Final
good script
Frontier.
for Star Trek, and he's like, "Oh, I got a great idea for Fantastic Four. This family will be on a spaceship.
They'll fight the
go somewhere."
Klingon, the Skrulls.
Yeah. They've never gone before.
Or you know what he might be doing? If he waits long enough, directs Fantastic Four, he's like, it might be time for a total Star Trek reboot, and then I can just go in and be like, let's start this thing from the ground up.
Let's start all over again.
Matt Shackman, free advice. Next headline. Bob Iger announced Disney would be targeting $3 billion in content cost savings.
Oh my goodness.
God damn. Planning to eliminate 7,000 positions to aid in doing so. He plans to reorganize the company into 3 core business segments: Disney Entertainment, ESPN, Disney Parks. That's more than 3.
It's Disney Parks Experiences and Products.
Okay,
I know, I was very
Disney Parks
confused by it, too.
Experiences and Products. So all 3 the 3 core business segments are Disney Entertainment, ESPN, Disney Parks Experiences and Products.
Yeah.
And ESPN famously, a couple of years ago, had massive layoffs. They laid off a ton of their remote, this is our reporter in the San Francisco area that covers the Giants, 49ers.
Right.
I mean, I remember on Twitter that day, it was like Nuclear Monday.
Yeah.
It was all these people, I watch a ton of sports content, and it was all of them doing their hey, a bit of news. I've been notified that I've been let go of ESPN, and since then, the subscriptions to ESPN Plus, which we talked about, are part of the bundling and everything. They have grown from 2 million to 23 million subscribers a month. Part of that really nice, affordable package that gets you Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN. But I also think they've made some smart moves that have made ESPN one of the more profitable wings of Disney. So it makes sense. And you could probably shift some of the Disney things over into the world of ESPN. Some of their productions could be, especially with their docuseries.
High School Musical. They play basketball in that.
I'm thinking Mighty Ducks, the
Bada-boom.
next wing or whatever.
Double teamed.
Bada boom.
Double teamed.
Is that your movie?
No,
or
I
my
don't
movie?
think we're talking about the same double team.
Okay. This was some very interesting kind of industry news, right? And what does this mean? Cutting it from the content, because they were they're not cutting it from Disney Parks. They were they're doing great. We're fine there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on here. This was part of an investors call yesterday, which is always a big deal. And this is kind of where you get a sense where the company is going. We're seeing this a lot too in multiple industries where, as the world shifts back to the work style we had previously before the pandemic, positions change, and they're well, we don't need this segment anymore. Yeah. Also, when they talk about the layoffs, right? When they say oh, we're gonna eliminate 7,000 positions, a lot of those positions might not even be filled.
Yeah.
Because they have been in a hiring freeze under Chapek, they did that.
Yeah.
And so if you eliminate a job, if you had a job posting and you eliminate it, that counts as an eliminated position, even though no one was there.
That one person with that job that got eliminated.
The sexy headline is that they're going to get rid of 7,000 jobs.
Right,
so
right.
Can't,
Yeah, it's the 7,000.
and a lot of this is tied to Disney Plus around the world. Disney
Yeah, I
Plus
was like,
in the
is this
US has done
international?
well.
Yeah.
Internationally, they've had some ups and downs. Disney Plus Hotstar, which is what they have in India, they lost their rights to cricket. And so I think a lot of people dropped it because I only have it so I can watch cricket. Yeah. So
What happens
it's
to
very interesting.
places like Hulu that just has a good chunk,
Well,
share?
they have said so. Disney owns part of Hulu with Comcast.
With
That
everybody
was a joint
else,
venture
yeah.
they did early on when streaming was just getting started.
Right.
Iger indicated they'd be willing to sell off their part,
Their share.
Now, instead of buying out Comcast, being we'll sell off our part.
That's
of
interesting because then what happens to FX?
I don't
Because
know.
FX has been pretty much relegated to Hulu.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, they've put a lot of their movies that they've decided not to release theatrically. I wonder.
Oh yeah,
You
because
can tie it all
Disney.
into Disney
Is
Plus?
Because
physical
Disney has
media due for?
Fox.
Yeah, but can
I
you
don't
put a supernatural
Atlanta.
horror? Could you put Prey on Disney Plus?
We've talked
Yeah.
about before as they get closer to adding. They added a TVMA category
Yeah.
to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
and they added parental controls. It could be getting there. Hey, maybe you at home have an idea for how to fix this mess.
Disney Plus late night?
So you're telling me they're going to put Archer on Disney Plus?
Maybe. I don't know. Send your ideas to bob.iger@disney.com. He'd love to hear what you think about
And remember,
shaking things up.
We're always streaming live on Thrust TV, my streaming network.
This is very interesting, though, when we talk about, like, how these kind of changes will affect what's on Disney Plus, right? Do we... should we be worried about like Marvel and Star Wars? Do you think they could be affected by these cuts? Will we get Andor season 2?
No, those are money makers. Andor season 2 has already started production. I don't think we're going to see a Warner Brothers like scrapping of entire projects. I just don't think.
Is Bob Iger one to cut something like, well, not like Andor where they already started shooting, but farther. And I think they started the Acolyte here, but like, would they put something else on pause? Because it's like they already have like 4 Star Wars properties already like loaded, but they haven't come out yet.
Well, John made the good point that like if you scrap something that's already been shot, like that's a 3 years away savings, right? So it's like, is something like Armor Wars in trouble? You know, where it's like it's been shifted from a TV show to a movie, and now it's like maybe it's just not going to come out. You know, like they could save ostensibly $250 million from not doing Armor Wars, right?
Well, I don't think they're not going to just not put it out, but I do think
but
like,
it's not filmed, right? Like Armor Wars has not even started production yet.
I feel like we talked about something along the headlines for this because for some reason I'm so convinced that Marvel is staying where it is, but there was something in Star Wars that was being like altered, either them like pausing something.
Oh, Rogue Squadron, right? Was like
that's always been rumored to happen, and then it was like not gonna happen, and they're like, no, it's still happening.
And then Patty Jenkins kind of put in her like, I'm doing fine thing. Didn't she mention like I'm working on a Rogue Squadron right now?
Yeah, I would think Disney would be hesitant to like cut stuff that they've announced.
Yeah,
because we did see Warner Brothers and do that with some stuff, including DC stuff, and it's like. I'm sure Disney was like, well, we're not there.
Is there things they can even take off of Hulu, I wonder? Well, if they, because they'd probably need Comcast's.
Well, the only things they really have on Hulu are like all the Fox programming, right?
They have a lot of stuff that airs on ABC.
I was like, they make so much money off of Bob's Burgers and the other Fox shows.
I'm just trying to figure out like of all their wings on Disney Plus. There's like what is there? There's National Geographic, right? Like, could they start removing stuff from Natty G? I don't know.
Sorry, no Limitless season 2 from Chris Hemsworth.
I didn't like Limitless. Oh, are we talking about the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
What about renovations?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the new series from Marvel, we're still kind of like we don't have dates for them yet, right? It's been really slow. We don't even know when What If season 2 is coming. We don't know when Secret Invasion is supposed to debut, and that's coming in the spring of this year. They've told us.
Well, I think those things are still coming, but holding on them is probably a good idea if you guys are like, I don't want to lose any more money, and it's not like losing money in like what it reviews. It's losing money as in we're putting a lot of stuff out. Animation's expensive, and then we also have a bunch of movies.
Right. Well, they also announced, like we said yesterday, all of these sequels, which we'll get to later on in the show. But like, it's like they're making Toy Story. What is this? Toy Story 5?
Yeah.
And Frozen 3, which Frozen 3 seems like a no-brainer. Toy Story 5 to me is confusing because Toy Story 4. I mean, I hate to say for anything that's a cartoon, ended on a pretty final note. Like it was like. But I guess, as long as there's toys in the world, there's always stories to be told.
And always children to be sold.
Well, I think Toy Story 4 was the end of Woody's story. Woody's gone.
You don't think he's going to be in the movie?
No, he is. It's going to be him and Forky.
Nope.
It's going to be him and Forky. Forky made so much money.
Woody and Bo ran off to go...
You think Woody's Forky and Bo?
To go smack smooth surfaces together.
Yeah. But do you think that's the reason...
There's a snake in my bow.
They were probably... Long term, they were probably... planning on making these sequels, but do you think jumping to make these sequels immediately is so they can get more money? The 7,000 people laid off, but then they're coming out with a Frozen 3?
Potentially, and all those sequels they announced, they'll be in theaters. It's not for just Disney.
And those were like, actually, we can talk about later, because I'm like, they chose Toy Story and Frozen, 2 very popular ones, and then they chose Zootopia, which I think is an odd one.
Zootopia. Call it Zootopia.
Doesn't it have a different name in...
It does.
Overseas, it's called like Zoopolis or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
We call it Zoopolis.
Sorry,
and I think also like a lot of these cuts, we could see episode counts go down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've announced some big ones for like Daredevil and stuff.
And then it
but
goes to
I
12.
think from the future, they might be cutting down. And again, we might not see the effects of these cuts for years.
I mean,
because
but
all the
would
stuff
you-
that they've planned out is probably still going to come out.
Would you be mad if they made like a Dynamite 4-part kind of mini-series out of the title? Like somewhere between a special presentation?
I would always want more.
Sure, but leave them wanting more. You
Yeah,
know that.
exactly.
It's like a good improv show. It's 3.5 hours long, and then there's a great joke at the end.
Yeah. But this could be interesting if
like,
Disney,
yeah, sure.
if Disney's on the ropes right now. Like this could be a chance for DC to come in.
Sure.
Now they still got to get through this year because all of these like
Right.
planned new things for DC aren't
Yeah.
coming till 2024 at least at the
Yeah.
first. So we'll have to see. And I would argue DC hasn't had as many like big hits.
Yeah.
That like Marvel has had, obviously. I mean, fans really like the Batman.
Right.
Joker did well, won some Oscars, right?
Yeah.
And the Suicide Squad was a marked improvement
For
from Suicide
sure.
Squad. Again, though, that didn't have a big box office because we were still in kind of a pandemic times.
Right.
And it was
Well, it didn't
day
even
and
get
date, I
theatrical
think.
release, right?
Oh, it had a
No, I did.
theatrical
I went to the
release, but it
theater
was
and
like-
saw it.
It was like day and date where like you could just watch it at home. if
Oh,
you wanted
yeah.
to.
I was going to say, I watched that one at home.
Yeah. And surprisingly, Aquaman was one of the highest grossers
It's
of like,
Jason Momoa.
DC, which is crazy. But I also
got all-
remember
it got all
Patrick
that-
Wilson effect.
Ooh, it
I
got all
also
the
remember a lot of
moms.
people were like, "Oh, Aquaman was like fun and a
Yeah.
little more bright
Yeah.
than the typical Snyderverse stuff."
My mom
So,
saw Aquaman like 3 times. For Jason Momoa and his jeans.
Jason
That's it.
Momoa. We'll get that Aquaman sequel.
Is there any room for Linda in
No,
those
not my mom. Not my
jeans?
mom. Not my mom.
I mean, and of course, like
I'm gonna clip this, send it to her.
James Gunn, like the new slate, it does look really attractive.
It
but again,
does.
not starting until 2024. But we're gonna have like the regular stuff and all the Elseworlds projects coming in there. Maybe Constantine 2 off the table, on the table. We never know. And then apparently the Flash is amazing.
Yeah.
There's all these rumors. They're saying it's great, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how the Flash does and if it is a big hit for them. James Gunn has clarified the relationship between DC Studios and Warner Brothers. He was responding to a fan on Instagram, loves to take to social media,
God, yeah.
and he said, quote, DC is separate from Warner Brothers as of a couple months ago.
But what does that mean?
I don't think they're actually like separated, but he's like, I'm doing my own business.
Does it mean
They're
he
doing their
answers?
own.
He doesn't have to answer to any Warner Brothers people. He only has to answer to Warner Discovery executive. You know what I mean? Like Warner Brothers
Or
Films.
it might be that like the pools of money are separate
Sure,
completely.
sure.
And if
Oh.
Warner Brothers having trouble, it's not
not
going to
their
affect
job to
DC.
bail.
Yeah. They're not going to cut They're not going to cut Supergirl World of Tomorrow.
Got it.
If the next Discovery show doesn't
That's
do as
interesting.
well.
That seems like a big gamble on James Gunn, but I like it. Like
I mean, I think it's their best chance.
I think he'll put his money in.
there's
if
always
he-
more Matrix films to make.
Always more Matrix
and I
films
will
to
watch
make.
them.
They'll be like, Keanu, you can't make that Constantine 2 until we get 3
We're
more
not making
Matrix
Bill and
movies.
Ted 3 until you go back into the Matrix.
We got a super chat from DJ Cold Cuts who said, the only cuts I'm worried about is cold cuts.
Ooh.
DJ Cold Cuts, you love cold cuts. Your name's DJ Cold Cuts.
Trash Bag also noting that Tom Dong is my favorite category on Thrust TV.
Yes.
How's Thrust TV doing?
Yeah, how
these
is Thrust
days?
TV?
We
doing?
actually we've seen a noted gain in subscribers, most of which are government agents looking for reasons to prosecute. But we actually turned a profit.
It's tax season, so I hope you get a refund.
Yeah, we turned a profit last year. And by that I mean we became a prophet. We started predicting religious and biblical events on my new show, The Future.
On
future?
Thrust TV?
On Thrust!
I don't know if I'll tune in, but thank you.
Thrust into the future.
But yeah,
Now
all
I'm
this,
tuning in.
I would say, to wrap all this up, like all this industry news, it's like a lie. And you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. But I think this will be good for both companies. in the long
Competition
run.
is healthy.
Competition's great.
Both studios having to stay on their game to earn the fans hard-earned dollars at the movie theater, which is only getting more expensive.
Right.
The theatrical experience is now basically like going to a sporting event, right? Like, I mean, it really is. Concessions and if tickets are $20, that's, Major League Baseball game is like 30, but like, with concessions, feeding everybody, you're in over $100 either way. Yeah. Point being, the two entities being robust and healthy only leads to us all winning. And there's another way to win. and that's Factor.
Oh,
Okay.
what's Factor?
There's nothing worse than wrapping up a long day at work only to face a long night of cooking dinner. PU! Save time and energy with Factor's ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. And if you don't have a door, if you live in a garbage dump, just let them knock, clong, clong, clong. Toss the meals over! And they will. Get Factor and eat it raw. Not only skip the trip to the grocery store, but skip the chopping, prepping, cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. That's a long time for me. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Factor has meals that are keto. You looking for calorie smart?
Yeah.
You looking for vegan and veggie?
Oh,
Yeah.
How about full of protein?
100%.
Well, guess what? They have them all prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. Each meal has all of the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long, baby. Factor meals have all the ingredients you want and nothing you don't. You're looking for bologna? You're not going to find it. Maybe you will. With 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of quick bites, smoothies, juices, and more satisfying add-ons. Quick bite.
Oh my God.
Get Factor and enjoy clean eating
That's sharp.
without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. There really is no easier way to eat well, and trust me, I love eating well.
How do we get it?
Well, there's only one way, Jessica. You got to contact me, the Don of Factor.
Oh, no.
Head over to factormeals.com/breakroom50. That's right there up on the screen. Use code breakroom50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code breakroom50 at factormeals.com/breakroom50 to get 50% off your first box.
I said this
first
before.
box.
I cannot stress it. If you are a person that is very bad about eating, you throw that bad boy in the microwave and you have to eat it, and it's good for you, and you can get it the way you want
I
it.
do love those when they drop off the fresh, you just got to microwave meals, that type of service. You know, it's Factor February. So I don't mean to harp on Factor. You've got your money's worth. But I'll keep talking. It's Factor February. It's going to be Factor March because we slacked off the first week of Factor February.
That is true.
And
That
Super
is
Bowl
true,
Sunday is certainly going to be a factor on my waistline. So Factor February will reign supreme into Factor March, and hell, I'm looking at a Factor April as well. Now, Jenny Davis gave $20.
Yeah, they sent in a hot super chat. This might be a little industry,
I like this.
a little industry insider. Jenny Davis says they're an ex-Warner Brothers employee, and they claim that DC used to be under Warner Brothers studio. Therefore, Warner Brothers made all the decisions. They were the boss. The brothers Warner, they were. Now DC,
And the Warner sister Dot.
Oh, that's true. Now DC is under parent company Warner Brothers Discovery and is reporting to Zaslav and his directs.
So what they have to do is they have to pour all the ooze into Zaslav's mold so he can rise up.
Yeah.
What shall I cancel today? All right, it's time for mandatory. Fun.
Oh no!
Mandatory.
This is the right mandatory
Oh
fun.
boy! Guess what, everybody? We talked earlier about all those sweet, sweet sequels that have been greenlit by Bob Iger. Frozen 3, Toy Story 5,
That's right.
Zootopia.
Zootopia 2,
Zootopia. Please call it Zootopia.
Zootopia. Well,
Put a
guess
two in
what?
it.
I've given you guys each an assignment.
Oh, yeah.
Come up with a sequel that didn't get greenlit, but deserves a chance. And we'll decide, maybe the viewers will decide, if we can greenlight these
Oh, okay.
Disney Plus
Okay.
sequels.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
My pitch. This is a great pitch, and I think they should do it. Holes 2, Who's Digging Me?
Oh!
Now, it sounds very off.
The
now
Shire return
when
is
I
all I
say,
need to know. No. Oh, okay.
No. It's about everybody else that was in the camp. And I'm talking Zero, and I'm talking Armpit, and I'm talking Extra. I'm talking all of them. And it's them as adults now, and they don't know how to find love anymore because they've been all grown up in that little camp digging holes their entire life. And now they finally got out, and they're like, we want partners. We want relationships. And it's their trials and tribulations finding love. Holes 2, Who's Digging Me?
Oh, my.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
great.
the title can be reworked.
I like that. Dig 'em up.
Oh.
God,
Yeah,
dig.
this song is done by Ariana Grande and The Weeknd.
Switching on my digging with you.
Oh
All
my
right,
God. Okay.
Brandon, what do you got for us?
Here's what I got. I want to see a sequel to one of my favorite of the modern Disney era, I would say. This would be called Tangled 2. gentlemen prefer blondes.
Whoa!
No, take them out. Throw
It
them
takes
away.
place. We're 13 years out from the events of the first
Sure.
Tangled. Okay, Flynn, you might also know him as Eugene. He's been married to Rapunzel. It's been 13 years.
Yeah.
Marriage is getting a little stale. Okay,
Sure.
they're in the castle. The people of Corona, they're tired of being under a monarchy. They want to upthrow the system. Rapunzel's pissed about that.
Yeah.
They got 2 kids. They're turning into real assholes.
Time to bring in a third?
Like a 3rd kid.
A third into the bedroom.
Oh, well, I don't know because, like, Flynn's getting real pissed.
Yeah.
He's tired. He's also mad that Rapunzel's blonde hair hasn't grown back.
His horse died of old age.
No, Maximus is still alive, okay?
Yeah.
And the in-laws, Rapunzel's parents, they don't really get Rapunzel because they didn't raise her. She's
Yeah.
got different morals and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not getting along. And they don't like Flynn. He's a criminal.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a drunkard. You know,
Yeah.
he likes to drink a lot. And
He's
Flynn,
got some questionable views on
he's
Twitter.
got questionable views. He doesn't like the fact that everyone's got to take the flower now. He says we shouldn't force people to take the flower anymore, okay?
Agree heavily.
So Flynn, he wants to have a boys' weekend. See what's still out there, you know? Maybe get the tip of his arrow away. You know what I'm talking about? So
Ew.
him and Maximus and Pascal, they go out and they have like a hangover-style adventure. They hit up the Snuggly Duckling. They
Oh
get a
my
little
God.
wasted. They have a good weekend. They see what's out there. What possibilities are out there?
Sure.
You know, maybe it ends happy, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
I just picture like one of Flynn's friends calling Rapunzel and being like, "We effed up, we lost him."
We lost Flynn.
That's great. I love both of these ideas. I have one too, and then we have some rapid fire ones that we'll try and do from memory.
I got a couple.
I want you to imagine you're sliding a VHS tape in. It's the year is
Okay.
1992.
I don't know what that is. I was born in 2002.
You're hearing the music. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. You know, the VHS music.
Oh, okay.
And then you get coming soon from Disney Pictures.
Oh.
The circus has come to town, and Dumbo is the star of the show. That is, until Lloyd rolls in. Is there room enough for 2 elephants under the big top? Find out when these 2 friends, who are elephants who always forget, team up for Dumb and Dumboer. He's an elephant that has ears so big he can fly. He's an elephant that shoots peanuts out his nose like a Russian anti-aircraft gun. What kind of trouble are these 2 going to get into in Dumb and Dumboer? Then you cut to a rat holding one of those racist crows that's head's been ripped off. Pretty bird, pretty bird.
Oh, cute.
In theaters, Halloween Day.
Is this live action Dumbo or animated Dumbo?
It's actually a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's a bit of a
That sounds
Roger Rabbit.
expensive.
bit of a Roger
No, we
Rabbit
had
joint.
we had some honorary mentions. We had 2 Bedknob, 2 Broomsticks. That's a way to take the Fast and Furious franchise into the Disney universe.
I would love that. They really missed the chance. We
Yeah.
just lost Angela. Come
I
on, like we
know.
could have had her. We could have had her.
I know, but I could take over it.
Oh
morning! I'm Angela Lansbury. I like crumb cakes
Okay.
and teas. Off to bed now, Chip. Time for your bedtime.
I like the sequel to Wally.
Yeah.
Wally Wall Street. Wally Wall Street.
Wally-
Money never bleeps.
Oh.
I like a little growing up in the hood a version to Sleeping Beauty, and it's called Napoli Ever After.
Oh,
no.
you need a bonnet.
And that's she keeps going to sleep without a bonnet. And they're like, hey.
That's why you
I
need
also-
silk pillowcases.
I also pitched Jungle Cruise, but Tommy came up with a better name for it.
Jungle Cruising.
Yeah, Jungle Cruising, which could be a fight, but I want it to be
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
want it to be a gay cruise line,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's very
you're on the
fun.
Jungle Cruise looking out for your mates. I also think perhaps it's time to take our favorite little chipmunks into a little more spicy territory. So I present to you Chippendales, Risque Dancers.
No,
No. How dare you?
I'm gonna say no.
How
I'm
dare
gonna-
you.
Rescue
red light.
Rangers.
How dare you?
Chippendale, Risque Dancers.
Ooh,
Well,
okay,
we know
wait.
they're itching to do another Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's
Do
right.
Pirates of the
yeah.
Caribbean 7, The Curse of the Courtroom.
Oh, God. I'll take a mega pint of wine.
Oh, I got this.
Aquaman.
It took me a minute. I was
Oh,
like, what is a
no.
quote?
There's
in
also
that
Haunted
movie?
Mansion House Party, starring Kid and Play.
Oh.
As
Kid
ghosts.
and
That's adorable.
Kid and Play.
Didn't you have an idea for a Disenchanted and Enchanted sequel?
Oh, yeah, you
yeah.
have Disenchanted. You had Enchanted.
Yeah.
You had Disenchanted. Now we need to do Re-Enchanted.
Yes.
you bring back all the people from the dead.
I like the other one you pitched too, disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised. You're kicked
Maybe
off.
it's a
You're
choose
kicked
it
off
all.
Disney Plus. We can't afford it
You
anymore.
turn on the
Yeah.
you turn it on that episode and then you just get immediately logged out.
These are all fantastic. I'd greenlight any of
I
these.
love
Guys,
Which one would you greenlight first?
put in the chat whatever you, if you have an idea for something that needs to be sequelified that's a Disney property. I'm giving you guys a tie. I'm greenlighting both.
Oh, I love that.
can't-
I love that for
I
us.
briefly looked at our reflection, and I look like Linda Belcher, and I wish
Oh.
someone would have told me.
Oh, Bobby. Oh my God, Bobby. Now, okay, I want to mention before we leave.
Yeah,
'cause it is
please,
almost over.
please.
Eric Voss and I
What?
will be together.
Who?
In
When?
person.
No.
February 11th. That's
Whoa.
only nary
It's a few
2
days
days away. At KyberCon 2023.
Oh.
You can go to kybercave.com, KYBERCAVE.com to buy your tickets in advance to save a few bucks. Eric and I will be there, as well as John D. Michaels, an actor from Squid Game, Ellen Fernandez, who was an original Tusken Raider in A New Hope,
Hell yeah.
and Joshua Pila, who is, he is unbelievable. He does like flow dancing with lightsabers. It's like choreographed. He can make the saber like slide up and down his entire body. It's really,
Sounds risque.
it's impressive. It's very impressive. Now this is in Fairfield, California, which I believe is in the Bay Area. There will be a costume contest. Come get dressed up. Eric and I are going to do 2 different panels. One is just the 2 of us talking about our creative process. The other is a larger question Q&A panel with all of the guests. Come and see us. Take a picture. You know, give me a high five. I could use it, guys. My self-esteem hasn't been the best lately. So meet me at KyberCon 2023. I hope to see you there.
Hit him with that website again.
That is kybercave.com for advanced sales. $10.
How do you spell
$10.
Kyber?
And it's a whole thing. There's vendors.
love
Someone's
it.
probably doing balloon animals. I don't know. If not, bring balloons. I'll make an animal for you.
I lost to Gentlemen Prefer Blonde.
People want to see Flynn get his.
I can't believe Dumb and Dumber, which, by the way, shout out to Whitney Van Lanningham who came up with that idea. Didn't get a better result. Shame on you.
We also
Inside
got-
Out 2, Bing Bong's back.
Yeah, Corey can't drill in with
Not
the
breaking
super
all
chat.
of our
shows
hearts.
up
They
with
are
the
making an Inside Out too, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
fascinating.
I
If
love
they
an
don't-
Inside Out
They
too.
don't bring back Bing Bong.
Well,
No.
two of
Swear.
the voice actors aren't coming back because of pay
Oh,
disputes.
well, yes.
Well, I
yes.
think they should change it anyway. She's a teenager. She needs to have a different,
Yeah.
a couple more different emotions.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
yeah.
If I had an Inside Out when I was a teenager, it would just be one guy screaming, "Nudity! Nudity!
Is that what he's screaming?
Nudity! Cheeseburger! Nudity!"
Oh, nudity. I think you said mutiny.
Mutiny on the bounty, folks. Xenix also sent in a super chat about our earlier discussion, suggesting what if Deadpool goes on his own time heist and gathers all the Infinity Stones with Wolverine and uses them to snap himself into
The thing is,
MCU.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does that like he did in the second Deadpool.
Right.
Once he's just jumping time, he's like, "I got it, stones," and he just jumps into the MCU. I would not be surprised at that.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it if the result of it is that like the other universes are destroyed. He ultimately destroys the Fox universe. And he's like, whoopsies.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oopsies, poopsies.
Oopsie poopsies.
I like it.
We also want to remind you guys a few programming announcements,
Yes.
right? If you know we've been covering The Last of Us here on the channel, part of our after show on the Breakroom. This week they're airing The Last of Us tomorrow night instead of on Sunday because of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So we'll have our after show, The Last of Us after show. We won't be live tomorrow at 3. We'll be on in the evening with our after show for episode 5 of The Last of Us. You got time to catch up. If you haven't been watching the show, grab a box of tissues and watch the show. Get all caught up on
Yes.
episode 5 and join us for the after show. And then Sunday, after the Super Bowl, Breakroom will be live. There's going to
We're
be
having a little
lots of
Super Bowl party here.
little Super Bowl party. Going to be lots of hot trailers in the Super Bowl.
And
we
hot dips, I hope.
hot
Everyone
dips,
bringing a dip?
hot wings,
And hot people.
and hot chicks.
Oh.
So yeah, there's gonna be so many trailers, and we can't wait to talk about them. So we're gonna go live after the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So tune in for that. You can still watch the big game.
I'll be
and
dressed.
then-
I'm gonna dress up as a football player.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Which one?
Cute. Josh Allen?
Yeah, Josh Allen. Josh Allen. I'll dress up as Josh Allen.
Also on the channel, be sure to check. Be sure to check out Jessica's re-breakdown of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Tons of great new stuff she found in there. And lots of stuff from the creators of the film. Tommy's been wrapping up the Bad Batch on the channel. Been doing the Lord's
Live
work.
now.
Check that out. And then tomorrow we're getting a Fast 10 Trailer in the morning.
And for some strange reason, the powers that be have assigned Whitney and I to do it.
Whitney and Tom, you're going to cover it.
Let's see how far two people with horrific ADHD can go off the chain of what is in the trailer.
Well, luckily there's no other shoots tomorrow, so you guys can go on for
We could be here
hours.
for hours. And then I'll be driving to Fairfield, California. Right after.
Fairfax.
That's right. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you had a great Thursday. We can't wait to see you here on the channel tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursdays. Like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. We'll check you out soon. Late SKS.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Mwah.
Bye.
Mwah.